Do you feel like the advent of the internet, I mean, given that your apostasy was at like when it was, but so there are like obvious benefits and negatives, but do you feel like it's a blessing for apostates from Islam to be able, like information wise maybe, or but then doxing on the other hand and death threats?
I mean, the thing is, when I think back about it, it's hard to say, but I feel like the internet is the reason why I left Islam. I used I started using the internet at a young age. I was so addicted to sitting there through the night and just reading stuff. And when I was a Muslim, I had a lot of questions that I started to research and go outside of just the books and outside of just the community, and to research and look into all the sources which I could not immediately, have access to, and then kind of concluded that the Islamic religion is absurd and nonsensical, and ex-Muslims from around the world connect over the internet and are becoming aware that they exist. Because growing up in the Muslim world, it feels like you are the only one who has doubts, because nobody talks about this, because it's impossible. So that's definitely good. Of course, there are downsides to it, but yeah.
That's one of the key elements to cults in general, is the isolation of anybody who appears to be, who appears troubled or like the indoctrination process is obviously vastly different if you're brought up in a majority Muslim or mostly Muslim neighborhood, let alone country. You could be forgiven for feeling like if you open your mouth your head might completely come off with it. I mean, there's a 10-year-old in Nigeria who was locked up for at least a decade for insulting Allah, bearing in mind that Nigeria doesn't have Sharia within its constitution or blasphemy laws, oddly, but he managed to get it anyway. It was a toss-up for me. The first channels that I was ever broadcast on were Muslim ones at Speaker's Corner. I was saying it to JC SOCO on Sunday, that for those few weeks that I was in Speaker's Corner without him, as it were, like I used to peek at the comment section and then think, why have I done that? Like it was never even neutral. It was fully like a vitriolic and like really hateful. So that it can make a difference. I guess if you're just starting to ask questions and you receive a barrage of, I don't know, threats for possible apostasy, that could be detrimental also.
Yeah. If there is the one downside of that whole of the internet, and how the Muslim mentality and Muslim ideology kind of forms and uses the internet. People realize, Muslim apologists realize after a while, that the internet is this big tool where criticism of Islam and doubts about Islam are spread, where ex-Muslims share their own messages and this and that, so they have to respond. And what they do now, how they use the internet now, is to have a certain speaker like Muhammad Hijab, for example, or I don't know, even Ali Dawa, and he has a discussion with somebody, and then the whole Muslim community fanatically mobilizes and goes onto the watch page of the Muslim and also the non-Muslim, and just completely, occupies the comment sections and leaves comments and so on, to kind of impose the idea that their own side is the right one, and that their own side won. You see this everywhere. And it's very weird. People who are not familiar with the Muslim mentality are kind of a little bit, baffled by by so much pressure and interaction and so much fanaticism. But I guess this is one of the downsides of the internet. But again, that will also lead to many people interacting with opposition, and some people, being exposed to doubts and to criticism, and then, defecting. And
that's the thing, I suppose. I can't speak for I don't know, I can actually. For Christians, really the worst, I don't know about the worst, but the most common thing you're going to get if you leave Christianity is potentially dinners cooked for you, maybe, as if you're unwell, prayers, people with love, trying to find out, oh, what went wrong there, and do you fancy coming back for a bit, and oh, never mind. Like there's no question of, and I know someone in the comment section, so save your breath, is going to start talking about stoning of apostates in the Old Testament, but that's not, those weren't Christians anyway. So like love being the greatest commandment, there's just zero scope for let's just go and torture and kill them, because surely their body is the most important part of this as opposed to their eternity. Like any ideology that has to protect itself with violence, even if it's verbal violence, like you've got to wonder, like, what kind of quicksand are they all standing on? Like, are they just standing on each other, or potentially the heads of people who've been ripped to pieces in Pakistan, for example, for apostatizing? Like, it's pretty fierce. I think that might be an adequate word, maybe. It's a pretty ridiculous state of affairs to kill someone because they don't agree with you